Tradition is an important thing in all cultures of life. It is a way that we utilize togetherness, it is a way we honor our history, and it is a way that we can recognize forgotten parts of our culture. And tradition can be manifested in many different ways. It can be a parade. It could be a gathering of people doing a candlelight vigil. It could be gathering in a church or a place of worship. It could be a minute's silence, but the point being that it is a universal concept amongst living things. And Sturgeon is no different. It has been around 4 weeks since you laid Margot to rest. In that time, you have all been going through your own personal self-reflections. Flebs has been sequestered away, almost exclusively in his room, figuring out what he is and where he goes from here. Jericho, you have been ruminating on what you learned about the Fractal Hunt and training, and probably talking a lot with Nish and your trusted Nightmare Detective friends. Fala, you've been doing work for the Nightmare Detectives in the Death May Die Emporium and counseling with the spiders, waiting for the next sign as to what's to come for you in your journey. Jimmy, you have been training relentlessly and reflecting on the things that went down in the Higher Institute for Learning. And Callista, more than anybody else, you have been figuring out who you are and what it means to truly be a deathless, an arch reaper, and all the things that entails. And I think you probably spent a lot of time with Capri as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this not to force agency away from your characters, but because we don't have time to go through those 4 weeks, and I think time skips are important in stories we're telling, but also because this is your first calendar year in Sturgeon. Soon you will have been together for an entire year, and you realize that you never got to take part in traditions. You never got to take part in anything that was really going on in the city, because you were always busy, or you were recovering or mourning. And on this occasion, you're all gathered into Madame Lockwood's office at the end of a typical workday. But it's the summer, so it's around, I'd say 7:45, a little bit later. And she gathers you all in her office. And she says, "Well, I appreciate you all coming on short notice. Before I get to why you're here, I wanted to see how you're all doing. Fala, are you settling in okay?"
Well enough. Got my stuff, just here, yeah.
Okay, and is Gus and the council, are they sufficiently fed, and have they got their own place?
Oh, of course they do.
And is there anything that we could do to make your stay more comfortable here?
No, just more lizard and spider food. Keep it coming.
Oh, we can do that. Fala, have you seen anything coming, anything in the future to let you know when the next event's on the horizon?
No, it's not. Doesn't really work like that, but...
No, but
No.
what I mean is, you come from the future with an understanding of our timeline. And I realize it's in flux a little bit, but more of a... You know when bad things are going to happen, calamities coming in our past, because it's your history. It's our future, your past. And I just wanted to know if anything was there. And you can obviously roll historian if you want to, or you can simply take a guess.
Yeah. Yeah, let's roll historian because I wouldn't even know what to guess. So hang on. Let me go.
11.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. You get a little bit of a deja vu when you look out the window, because you remember that something happened on a day filled with fireflies and shadows. And you can communicate that back to Nell, but it's not fully clear to you what. You just know that there was something that happened on that day.
On what day specifically?
Well,
Sorry,
looks like
I'm
today.
also trying to take-
Potentially looks like today.
Oh.
Like you look out the window and you see such an odd combination. It sticks out because you either read about it or someone told you about it from your time, that on the day of fireflies and shadows, something bad would descend upon Sturgeon.
Okay. Yeah, Fala looks out the window and just, while looking out, goes, I can't place it and I can't really explain it, but this all does feel like something terrible is coming.
Is Gus with you, Fala?
Always.
He is on your hair, and he is on a little stalk, like you've got like a little pin in like where your hair is, like a bun. He is standing on it, and he is shaking back and forth and turning red, with his mouth open. He does not like what he sees.
Okay. And Fala grabs Gus and is holding him and just...
keeping...
When even Gus senses trouble, you know, some things.
She nods and says, okay, well, I've been feeling something's coming, so we'll get to that. Jericho, it's been a lot for you since you joined us. Again, I want to ask you, how are you feeling? Is there anything we can do?
Well, since joining Nightmare Detectives, I've refound a sense of purpose that I think I lost, and for that, I think I should be thanking you. As of late, I've been still understanding everything about being a fractal, being myself, and what all that means of what events to come and how I should be prepared for them. I have some things that I'm working on that I'll be sharing, and even asking for assistance with. But for now, I think I'm just in the preparation phases.
Jericho, I feel much like Fala. I need to ask. I actually have I care about all of you, but I do have a question for each of you. What do you think is going to happen with the Fractal Hunt? Only you really know what about all of that.
Well, in the name, a hunt's a hunt. Seems to me that while not every fractal was 100% on board with it, all of us are gonna have to participate. It, for me, for what I can gather, does seem to be that it's a kind of one fractal left standing situation. What that means for the actual powers that are involved with it. I suppose that the victors would be consuming their I guess, pray if we're going to go along with the whole thematic of a hunt.
Do you think
There are.
we're at risk,
Mhm.
Jericho? Any of the regular Sturgeonites?
Okay, for a moment. At this point, Jericho would have filled them all in filled everyone in on the kind of projection realm thing that he experienced like a couple episodes ago.
Something to keep in mind then.
There are some there are some fractals that are less willing. Some of them that are more excited just to participate in the hunt. And from what I gauged off of, I guess, the air in the room, those who are more willing to participate don't are to varying degrees don't care about who's in their way to get to the other fractals. Just that they are the one who survives the hunt.
Very well. That is what I feared, but I appreciate the honesty. James, I haven't seen you around lately, and I know it has been challenging, but I know that the Institute gave you an honorary degree, and they made you an ambassador. I just wanted to check in. Has that been going well? Are you doing okay?
Yes, ma'am. I am doing as good as could be expected for finding out that my people's, well, that I was not alone here when for a long time I thought it was. And, now finding out that the other Sasquatch here is marked for a hunt has me a little on edge, we'll say.
I can understand that. We actually tried to reach out to Dr. Wayland. She said she was busy, but we'll try again, and maybe you can help us.
I will help any way I can to preserve the life of a fellow Sasquatch to remain outside of where our people are now.
Callista, I realize out of everybody, well, I know it's been hardest on you. So I'm not going to ask you how you're doing because I know the answer, and I've been where you've been. Rather, I would like to ask you, there's no easy way, so I'll just ask it. You've gone through a profound change, and I want to know how that makes you feel. I know you're grieving, so I don't want to insult you, but I do want to know what these changes are like. I will admit, it has made both me and some of the staff a little uncomfortable. But your prior service has us trusting you regardless.
Callista sort of lifts her chin and looks at Nell evenly and says, I'm getting it under control. Thank you.
Nell makes a note in her little pocketbook and doesn't take sort of any notice of your sort of like tone. I think she expected you to be like that. And she says, okay. I only have one other question, and then I will tell you why I brought you all here. You told me in the debrief of your report that Michael came down and that you sensed he was a void. Is that correct?
It is, yes.
We did some research of our own, and we found that it's likely he is the sin of pride. And I want to ask you, Callista, do you know where Michael is now? What he's doing?
I have not had access to heaven or any of the angelic communications since I fell the first time, and I certainly do not have access to them now. I don't know if he's still there, or if he's wandering on Earth somewhere, but Michael was never really the type to announce his plans to just anyone. He had a choice few confidants, and I doubt that even then he was completely honest with them. So, no, I have no idea where he is or what he's doing, and if I did, I would have already left to go stop him.
Callista, do you know who the last incarnation of Pride was as a void?
I do not.
Fala, I think you're the only one that might know if you want to try a history check. Because you're the only one that has that background. I just wanted to know if you guys had done any reading with the Cryptic Compendium or like talked to now. But if in game you haven't, that's fine. Yep. Fala, you know.
Let's go.
So I'm gonna give you, and I just want you to say this name, but you do know who the last incarnation of Pride was, and it's just a name that is on the lips of everyone from your time period, because it is regarded as the most dangerous name, in Sturgeon's history, and I'll just tell you how to pronounce it, just in case. There you go. And and you say it in the silence that fills. If you want to go ahead.
Yeah, I have to grab. His name is Amos.
And Nell
Right?
looks at you and nods and says, "Yes, he was the leader of the Voids, and he is my father." Callista, when I tell you that if you went out there and tried to take down Michael on your own, you would be eviscerated down to your very cells to a point that Lady Death herself could not put you back together, I am not being cruel or condescending. I am being literal. Because I know what the Voids can do, and if Amos has moved on from Pride somehow, and Michael has taken his place, you are powerful, Callista, more powerful than almost anybody I've ever met. But you're not that powerful. And I know you're hurting, but if you let this overtake you, you won't get revenge for anybody. You will just be leaving your friends to mourn you. Do you understand?
I'm still here, aren't I?
And before she answers, there is a gong that rings out through the city. And she sighs and says, "Another time. I gathered you here because today is the day of the Fireflies. In Sturgeon, on every August 30th, we gather and we give something up in the hopes we'll see it again. There is a shadow procession that's going to come past our little office in about 15 minutes when the dusk truly sets in. And I would like you all to be a part of it. So, if you have anything of any value that you are comfortable with giving up, if only for a time, I would like you to do so. Not in the hopes of a grand prediction, not in the hopes of something in return, although it does happen. It is not unknown for it to happen, but to do it because letting go can sometimes be the most important thing you can do. So, while she's discussing that, this is your chance to go through your gear, any of your possessions, anything of value. It cannot be a paint egg if you don't care for the paint egg, and then select and let me know. You will have a couple minutes if you want to take a look through.
Fala's inventory is pretty slim. Dang it.
Well, Fala can draw from stuff from her backstory as well. So if Fala has like pictures or sentiment, because obviously, bear in mind, Fala, you're working on Fala's backstory, so you get a bit more of a pass.
Yes.
I don't even know what I have. Like, I know some of the stuff I have, but I can't give up a lot of it.
Is there something on our character? Like, could we like go get it if it's like in like the compound?
So it's anything you've ever had as yours. If it doesn't matter whether it's in your possessions or if it's in the compound. Like, as long as it's yours, you can give it up. And I will say, even if it's something story related that hasn't really had much of an appearance in this game, if it furthers your character's story, I will give you that as well, as long as it has relevance. Okay, gang. In the game time, no one knows that it's been 15 minutes, but we paused and gave you guys time to look. So
we definitely had all of this ready.
You will go down, and you're on street side. Dusk has just begun to crawl over the building, and Everett is smiling at that notion. And you stand there on the sidewalk by Nell as you see what I've just put into the Roll20. It's a little bit more pronounced than this, but it takes you a minute as some of the last vestiges of light crawl over the town. But you see a large procession make its way from the west towards the east. And it is made up of hundreds of humanoid shapes. Some big, some small, carrying banners and strange umbrellas. And it's like a Macy's Day Parade, but not. And they walk through the town, and you see more and more people standing outside now. You see a member of the Victor Mendoza franchise standing out on the sidewalk. Everett is there. Paint Gunkerson is there. It seems so many people that you know, and many you don't, are observing this tradition. And the shadows keep walking until they start passing through your street. And as they get to the center of the street, they stop. And they cast their hands up to the sky. And you see everyone around you doing it. Silently, you will do the same. And after a moment, a grand doorway opens up in the street in front of the procession. And it takes a bit of time to form. And Callista, Capri is kind of buzzing around you. He's not saying anything, but like you can't tell if he's excited or scared, but he's floating around you. And Fala, Gus is again, you don't know if he's anxious or what, but he's like on your shoulder and he's sort of shaking and he's turning a black with red tinges. And Minerva has started laying a webbing on your pocket, like to keep herself in. And the sense that you're all getting, like for example, like Jimmy, your hairs are standing on end, like static almost, like an instinctual thing. And Jericho, you just get that sense in your stomach like butterflies. You all feel like you're bearing witness to something otherworldly. And eventually this door, which is over 200 feet tall, and it takes up the span of the street, so it's, 30 feet wide, forms. And the door has a little door inside of it that opens up, and someone steps out and stands there in a shadowy hewn veil. And people begin walking up and offering something to it. Some of them are given something back in return. Some have a hand placed on their head, and some are just nodded to and they walk away. And eventually, it's you five. Flebs is nowhere to be seen. And it just appears he's not going to join you. I'm going to say, Fala, you're going to be first.
Okay.
So you walk up, and this figure, which you can't even perceive anything about it, it's just a shadowy creature in a veil, says, in a very sort of unusual voice, it's like almost like croaky. It says, "What do you offer on the day of the Fireflies?"
Fala reaches behind her neck and unclasps the necklace that she's been wearing, and it is a mini hologram projector that has pictures of her family in it, and she looks at her parents one last time and then hands it to them.
And they take it, and they push the button as if they knew exactly what it did, which to you is probably quite horrifying because this is in the future. And pops up a moving three-dimensional photo of you, your father, your mother, your brother, your grandfather, and your grandmother. And this creature points to each one of them. Starts with your father, says, Ewan. Your mother, Saoirse. Your brother, Washin. Your grandfather, Fionn. Your grandmother, Aoife. Something left behind, but never truly lost. And I forgot to add this into the chat. I'm going to put this in Visual Delights. But all of you, when you have finished your offering, need to say this phrase. And obviously, if at any point the creature says anything, you want to do a roll for it, you're welcome to. But when you are content with the exchange, that's what you say to let me know to move the scene on, okay?
Okay.
So he's just said that, Fala.
Okay. And yeah, Fala looks at him and says, I offer this to the shadows, willingly letting go in the hopes of seeing it once again.
He nods and looks at you for a moment and says, a gift cannot be offered to one out of time, but you shall see it once again. And nods. I'm going to say next is going to be Nell. Nell walks up slowly, and you're all pretty close in proximity, so she hands over it's like a clasp that she had around her wrist, and she says, Well, I've been here 2 times before in my life. And many things I've given up, but I've held on to this until I thought the final days were upon us. And I don't know if I'll be here again, so here you go. And she hands over the clasp, and I don't think I'm going to say what it is. I think if any of you want to know, you can ask and roll for it, but she hands it over, and the shadow looks at it, and she says, I offer this to the shadows, willingly letting go, in the hopes of seeing it once again. And the shadow nods and puts a hand on her forehead, and she glows for a minute. And when it lets go, she has a single tear running down her face, and she nods, and she moves aside. Next is Jericho.
Jericho takes out from his coat pocket to the group of a familiar hand cannon that he used throughout the hotel in their shark, the Mantis Bay Arc, and adorning it is wrapped around the barrel is a little golden pendant. He's offering Dennis Rowe, the handgun that Dennis Rowe gave to him, the Death's Row, and the pendant that adorns it is from Jericho's mother, that has a olive branch engraved across one side of it, and the other side of it says mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and handing it to the shy figure, he says, I offer this to the shadows, willing letting go in hopes of seeing it again.
And it nods, and it reaches out to touch you and stops and says, we cannot interact. You are a fractal, but I wish to give you advice. You are wise to let go now, for there will be losses to come, and you will be stronger for it. Go with St. Martin's blessing. And you feel a little bit odd, Jericho. Like something shifted in you. And you're gonna have, just for a little while, you're gonna have an advantage on your weird rolls.
Right.
But not forever. Next up is Jimmy.
Jimmy's going to step forward, reach into his shirt, and pull out a chain with 2 rings on it. One small, one large. He's also going to rummage around in his pocket and find one of the first things he ever got in Sturgeon, which is the Bane of the Mushroom. He's going to take the necklace with the rings on it, wrapping it around the neck of the bottle, and hand it to the figure. And say, I offer this to the shadows, willingly letting go in the hopes of seeing it once again.
The shadow looks at you, and it sort of pauses and says, this offering is accepted with humility, and I wish you grace in the coming battles ahead. And Jimmy, you are gonna have at one point in this arc, one moment where you will not give in to your rage, and that is going to be up to you, but just one moment. And this is part of the grace that he gives you for giving up so much.
All right, thank you.
Last but not least is Callista.
Yes, Callista steps forward and she waits until she gets in front of the shadow to retrieve it, but she stands in front of them and then reaches to a sheath on her belt that was kind of under her coat and pulls out the dagger, the infinity dagger, the one that she made for Margot and the one that Margot was killed with. And she's kind of like, she has like a really tight grip on the handle, like she's like white knuckling it almost. But she holds it really carefully in both hands, and presents it to the shadow, like lays it down very carefully.
And it looks at that and says, you are different. But you know you will see it again.
Callista nods once and says, I offer this to the shadows, willingly letting go in the hopes of seeing it once again.
This one reaches out and puts a hand over yours, and you feel very strange when it does. Cold, but not in a temperature. It's so hard to explain. It's sort of the equivalent of being jumped into a really cold bath, or like a lake on a hot day. It's an overflowing sensation, but it's cold because that's the closest approximation your body has, but it's not. And it says, you will visit the Umbral City before this is all done. And when you do, you will know. And it lets go and stands back at the doorway and nods to you.
Callista seems kind of like startled by that, but they just kind of look at the shadow for a few seconds before nodding in return and then stepping back quietly to join the others.
And you will stand at the side as the people keep going in the procession, and eventually the umbral door begins to shudder. And I'd like all of you to make a weird roll, please. Okay.
Fala has no weird.
That's okay.
Hmm.
Oh,
There's
well,
our experience
if
point
I'm
for the
being
day.
completely candid, this could not have played out better.
Awesome.
So 12 for Jimmy,
yeah,
6 for Jericho, 11 for Callista, 2 for Fala. So Fala and Jericho, you fail. Callista and Jimmy, you succeed. And in fact, actually, you know what? To make this completely fair, let me roll for Nell as well. Just because I am curious as to what she would see. And obviously, when we do weird rolls, there's a lot of reasons you could be doing them, but one of them is detecting magic, essentially, what magical elements you see. So she got a 10. Okay, that's perfect. You're all standing there as the door shakes, and Nell takes a step forward and says, I see the doors opening. And Fala and Jericho, the door is not opening for you. It is just a door. For
That's some
Nell,
bullshit.
yeah, for Nell, Callista, and Jimmy, that door is opening, and you are getting a glimpse at the Umbral City. And I'm not going to say what Nell sees, because I think that's up to you to ask her, but Callista, you get a look at this strange, ultraviolet / negative space world, and you could swear for a moment you saw Margot. And Jimmy, you look and see that same, it's like a looks like a Ren fair almost to you, with these beautiful spires and these colors of green and black and white, and it's abrasive but not. And you could swear you see a yurt representing your tribe and someone who looks like Tracy. And as soon as you see it, the door closes and it fades. And that procession carries on walking. And someone near the back bows to you and says, "A gift for your offering." Fireflies glow bright and they fade, only to rise again once more. Go with St. Martin. And the shadow procession goes off into the distance until it is no longer visible. And I don't know about Jimmy and Callista, but Nell is seen this before, but she's a little bit emotional, and she wipes a tear from her eye and blows her nose, and she says, "Well, when you've got a moment, if you could all come back up. I had a strange delivery this morning I'd like to show you." And she turns around and heads back in the building.
Yeah, Callista looks a bit like... I think it only lasts for a little, like for a second, but she kind of looks briefly like she was just like hit in the stomach. And then it kind of goes away, and she looks back down at her outfit and just goes about like fidgeting with it almost in like a more human way than she usually acts. Just not looking at anybody.
Jimmy, what about you?
Me is standing there just staring at where the door has vanished from, but just staring at it. Blake now probably has a tear running down his cheek, trying to process what he just saw.
Yeah. I think that's very reasonable. I guess it's worth asking what Jericho and Fala are doing, like, or how they're feeling. So obviously they didn't see anything, but I'm curious.
I think Fala generally, like, she sees how put off everyone is and how whatever they saw seems to have affected them so much, and just looks at Callista and Jimmy and just says, "Well, I guess I'm glad I didn't see anything, but what was that? What happened?"
Do either of you two answer, or?
Jimmy would like to answer this. Jimmy would look at Fala and be like, "I saw the one thing that I loved most in this world, and it was still out of reach."
Oof.
Oof.
Yikes.
Ow.
Would Callista like to cry?
Callista rolls for crying. No, Callista kind of looks up and says, "The blade I gave over, that was something I made for Margot, so that's who I saw. Guess I should have expected that."
So after a minute of calming yourselves down, you all go back into the office. I assume, unless anybody wants to divert somewhere else, you are welcome to.
Oh, no, Jericho's fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
No, I
Jimmy
think
will go back in the
Fala's
office as
okay.
well.
Okay. You all go back in, and Nell is standing there with Flebs. Flebs has been poring over something on her desk, and she says, "Well, look who decided to come out of their room. Flebs here thinks that he can open up the box I've been given. It's got a strange lock on it. He was rather eager when I said I needed help, but never turned down help. I got this morning, and it came with a very odd message. In fact, it only came with one message, one word." And she scribbles it, sends it across the table. And it had one word on it, which was reunion. I don't know if anybody wants to investigate or roll, but they are welcome to.
Hmm.
Can I use magic to detect magic?
Yeah, absolutely.
Magic.
Absolutely. Or third eye, or just a magic roll.
Third eye.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, Jericho, this paper is imbued with magic, and it is connected to that box. What else are you looking for? So I know how much info to give you here.
It's first thing was great. Was making sure it was actually magical in nature. And is there any, and like in Jericho, from tradition discern any, like, is it like, it's gonna sound like weird, like hyper suspicious? Was it like curse? Or is it like gonna blow up or anything like that?
So it is. All you can really tell is that it is connected to the It is connected to that. What's the word I'm looking for? It is connected to that box. Like it is inexorably connected. Like you don't know what that means. You just know that it could not be good. It might not be good. You've seen enough in your time. I would not be surprised if it was a bad situation.
So it cannot be good, or it's not good.
Well, you got an 11. I would say that in your experience, it's likely to not be good.
Okay. In character, Jericho say, my experience, this might not be good.
And as you're all standing there, there is a noise that starts to fill the building and the streets outside, and it is the inescapable sound of a TV broadcast. And
Oh shit.
as you, I'm assuming you go to the windows, you see a hooded figure projected over the skies. And it says, "This is a citywide broadcast for residents of Sturgeon. The Fractal Hunt is about to begin. Over a dozen gods in human form will descend upon Sturgeon in order to find out who is truly worthy of reigning supreme. Should you not wish to be witness to such awe-inspiring greatness, I suggest you vacate with the time we give you. Say, 60 minutes? You people have seen your fair share of calamities, monstrosities, and battles, but believe me when I tell you that you have never seen power the likes of what we wield." I need everybody to make a shot roll.
Sounds a little full of himself.
As the shower was going out, like Jericho just making rapid eye contact between Jimmy and Callista.
Yeah.
We're doing sharp.
Alright. Okay.
We might be on the same page.
I'm going to do that for Flebs and for Flebs and no, excuse me, got my brain. So a 10 for Callista, an 8 for Fala, a 12 for Jericho, and a fail for Jimmy. Okay.
He's in emotional distress right now.
Yeah,
Leave him
no,
alone.
I understand.
Not about Jimmy.
Hold on. Fleb's got a 10. And Nell. Let's see. And obviously, this roll is to sort of determine if you recognize what's going on here. Because obviously the reason I'm telling you to make the roll is because really, if this is a live story, characters are going to sort of pick up on what's going on. And Nell gets a 12. So the only person who doesn't get it is Jimmy, and actually that would kind of track with what we're doing here. But let me say to Jericho, you got the highest roll with a 12. What do you think is going on here? As your eyes are darting to everyone.
Jericho just has this kind of gut-wrenching feeling like, I know that fucking voice.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, I'm glad. I'm so glad we're on the
so
same
you're all
page.
saying that. And the voice says, "To the Nightmare Detectives, you have been located, you have been observed, and you have been marked. You each hold something dear to you, and to ensure you do not involve yourself in our affairs, we will now be taking it away from you." Jimmy, you get a phone call. Callista, you get a phone call on the phone you were given, which only has 3 numbers in there. You get Jericho, I'm gonna say you probably get a sense. This is like a fear sense kicking in. Fala, it clicks for you what this day is. I want to just ask you each for an experience point. Who you think is so Jimmy? Who do you think is calling you?
Shoot. What's her name from the school?
Oh, Wayland.
Wayland?
Yeah, Wayland. Yeah.
Wayland, yeah. That's a
yeah.
good guess.
It is Wayland. Get an experience point.
Get it.
Oh my
Get
God.
that point.
Callista, who is calling you?
So sorry, really quick. Can you? What did he say was being taken away from us?
He said you all have something you hold dear to you.
Okay. I'm afraid it's Muldoon. Is it Muldoon?
It is Faye Muldoon.
You
is
should get
calling
3
you.
numbers on that prepaid phone.
Yeah, I know.
Faye
I'm
Muldoon is calling you. Jericho,
That's
what does your
vague,
sense
yeah.
tell you?
Okay.
Afraid of.
Is it something with Nish? Oh.
It is something with Nish. There's a spiritual connection that you have, and actually, Jericho, it's Nish and Kruger. You get a sense that both of their spiritual power has disappeared. And Fala, for you, what about this day clicks for you from your memory?
That today was sort of the kind of flashpoint
Mhm.
of the start of everything, I think.
Correct.
Would be,
And you
Yeah.
also had a family member here, did you not?
I did.
And who was that family member?
Would it have been a great grandfather?
It was great grandfather, possibly great, yeah.
Yeah.
And what was
Just
their
want to say we all nailed that experience.
You did. But I want to see. So Fala, who was that family member?
It was Dr. Good Doctor.
Dr. Good Doctor.
Oh no!
Oh,
my
fuck.
Great great grandfather.
Dude, are you kidding
Applause,
me?
chicken.
Plot twist.
Well, you're not going to be laughing in a second. So,
I'm so
Nope.
as you all begin to
laughing
get your
out of fear.
phones, Jimmy, you get a pre-recorded voice note, and it's Wayland saying, Jimmy, the mark's been passed. They've got me. I'm so sorry. And the line cuts out. You then get a text, Jimmy, from an unknown number, and it says, "This is Amelia. I can't find Wendy."
Oh.
Callista, you get a phone call, and it's from Faye, who is in the midst of tears and saying she's on her way to the building. But someone took her dad. Or someone took her grandfather, excuse me. Someone took her grandfather.
Yeah.
Or was it her uncle? No, it's her uncle. Her uncle, sorry.
Uncle.
Sorry.
Uncle.
Yeah, uncle.
Took her
yeah.
uncle. And she's in floods of tears saying, Callista, they came and they beat him and they took him. I don't know what to do. And I would imagine Callista's sort of just frozen. That's sort of my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I was gonna say. Actually, is that she wants to respond, but she's just with everything else. Also, with everyone else receiving these things at the same time, she's like definitely overwhelmed. Yeah.
Overload.
Jericho, as I said, you have a sense because you're connected to them that their spiritual power is just gone, and you do not know what that means. And I would imagine you immediately try to call Nish. I'm guessing.
Yes.
You don't get anything at all. There is
And Kruger?
nothing. The phone is disconnected.
Yeah.
And then, as this is all going on, you turn your attention with absolute horror to the package that Flebs has been tinkering with, because he just got it open. And there was a magical bomb inside.
Oh shit.
I called it.
And Flebs dives for Nell. And each of you is going to need to roll tough.
I don't
Tough?
have a lot of that. That's gonna hurt.
Oh fuck.
Okay.
What the hell?
Two
Oh
for,
no.
a
Callista,
two,
what the hell?
a 2 for Callista,
Oh no.
an 8 for Fala, a 6 for Jericho. Let's
Plus
see.
it's really
Jimmy,
frozen.
Jimmy got a
Can't
9.
believe that. I have
Yeah.
-1.
Why
tough.
are your rolls always in very elusive? What's going on?
I'm literally a warrior, and I have no instincts right now.
You're
Oh,
upset. You're
shit.
distracted. It's okay.
Okay. No, you are not protected. Because I know exactly what happens on a fail. Nell got a 10, thankfully. She was shielded.
Yes, she did.
She was shielded from the blast. And Flebs.
I'm scared for
Roll,
Flebs.
roll 20s.
I am too.
So damn slow.
too.
He's gonna come back next week and be like, "Yo,
Guys, you
buddy,
guys
I
fucking,
guess
something
it's
bad
bad.
happened."
You think I didn't?
how'd you guys fucking kill me?
You guys think I didn't
Yeah.
clear this with Flebs beforehand? Come on now.
Well,
And Flebs gets a
oh
5.
no!
Holy fuck!
What's
So
gonna happen? Oh no!
I mean, it narratively makes sense.
it happens in slow motion. Flebs, in an uncharacteristically emotional moment, screams to you to get out of the way. Callista, you are frozen to the spot, and Jericho, so are you. Fala, you and Jimmy, and perhaps it's because of the sort of lesser connections maybe you guys have in a polite sense. You have the wherewithal to get out of the way, and Callista, you let the phone drop to the ground as you stand there frozen, thinking about the only other person left in this world outside of the detectives you care about. You think about how he offered you Strombolis, about how he held you when you were baby Callista, and how he supported you. You think about his appointment to the new position. You think about the opportunities of going to have Christmas with him, and it's being ripped away from you, and you freeze. Jericho, you think back to when you and Dennis Rose stood on top of the Hotel Inertia, guns drawn, and he fired blank after blank until you took his life because he knew that was the way it had to be. You think about Nish holding you, endlessly as in your body on the 13th floor. You think about Kruger holding you and crying as you mourn Dennis Rowe, about the training you all had, and you freeze. And Nell, frozen in place as Flebs takes to the ground as this bomb goes off, and it rips through the office. It rips through the entire floor. And Callista, you are fatally wounded. And you will be alive for the last part of this speech, and then you are going to be sent back to the Death Realm.
Okay.
Jericho, this is going to suck for you, buddy.
Fair.
I'm going to think of what the injury is, but it's bad. It's a bad injury. Flebs, when the rubble clears, Flebs is on the ground and he is not moving. And this message continues and says, "You have been warned. We will take more if you pursue us. We know how to hit you where it hurts, and we can do it again. You will be tested, and you will not be the same should you survive." And then this individual puts their arms out and says, "My fellow Fractals, form your alliances. Hide away. Stand your ground. It does not matter. The hunt continues no matter what. By the end, the ranks will be thinned out, the weak will be culled, and we will have our fill. 14 of us stand here now. Well, formally 14. You'll find the last one at your doorstep, detectives. After all shows have a season finale, don't they?
Yep.
This is the Fractal
hate
Hunt."
him.
And the individual takes their hood down, and it is a very twisted, malformed J.J. Watson who smiles and says, "Did you miss me?" And the transmission cuts. And Callista,
I fucking hate him.
you bleed out, and your body decays, and you are sent back to the Death Realm.
Yep.
I'm gonna say that your body's just. What do you think? Like, do you think singed, or do you think it would be shrapnel?
I was imagining shrapnel.
Okay, yeah, you are just gutted. Now Jericho, you got hit badly, and I'm trying to think of what the injury should be, and I am open to suggestions.
I kind of think that like in the moment and trying to, like, I guess like create like a barrier protection spell, he would have like extended like his arm
Mm-hmm.
and just continue the spell in time, and his left arm is like almost like left arm, like almost like his left side of his body is like pretty fucked up, pretty mangled.
I'll give you a choice.
How
about this? You can either lose the arm, or you can have complete like singes across that side of your body, which will give you like some disadvantages. It's the same arm that you would have lost a hand on as well.
I'll lose the arm.
Okay. You put the shield up, and in the moment that you do, it does not cover your arm in the barrier, and the blast completely disintegrates it past the elbow and up to the meat of the bicep and cauterizes it, and you are in shock on the floor. So even though I know you said I hate that guy, it would be, if you said it, it'd be a wheeze, but you are fucked up. And the building is engulfed in some pretty nasty flames. Some of the other staff are coming to put it out. Nell is shaking Flebs, trying to wake him up, and he is not. And she begins to perform CPR on him, while everyone else is attending to you, Jericho. And we're going to quickly jump over to the last garden at the end of the world, where Lady Death is waiting patiently for Callista to come back. Callista, do you feel like you wake up in the same place every time when you do this, or do you think it's different each time you return?
I am kind of imagining the same place every time, although I remember last time she landed in Lady Death's flowers, so maybe not there. But definitely in the garden though.
I think you are resting underneath an oak tree then.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That works.
And you wake up and Lady Death is knitting something on one of those like big swing sets under the trees, just waiting for you.
Yeah, I think Callista sits up like really sharply and instinctively puts a hand to like her middle where the shrapnel was, and I think it takes her a second to realize what happened, just because of how sudden it was, and also she's not used to dying yet.
She kind of speaks to you from the distance. It's all right, you're fine. You can't die, remember? You're okay. Take a deep breath. Control your breathing. Please don't have a panic attack under my tree.
Yeah, I think Callista doesn't realize she's like borderline hyperventilating until she says that, and then she kind of comes back to herself and tries to calm herself down. Like after her breathing slows a little bit, she says, I have to get back. The others, they could have died too. I need to go back.
If they died too, Callista, would they not be here? I need you to take a breath, sweetheart. Take a breath and look around you. Tell me what you see.
Callista kind of inhales shakily and tries to let it out slowly as she looks around. Would I roll like a sharp?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So 7. You see it's still the garden. The stars above have changed. The planets around the garden have changed. There's a small procession of souls being led over past the houses, past the barn, to like a little airport area. But you can't see anyone you know there. It seems that everything's okay for the moment.
And I think with that knowledge, Callista will calm down a little faster. But she pushes herself up to her feet and moves closer to Lady Death and says, how long until I can go back? Is it the same every time?
No, there are ways around it. I think in this instance, what we need to do is, well, you need to get back there quickly, don't you?
Yes, please.
And what are you willing to do to make that happen?
Callista, like, stops where she is and kind of looks at her for a second, confused, and says, "What can I offer? I don't have any tasks here at the moment.
Give me an act under pressure roll, and we'll see.
Shit.
Okay, yeah. Oh, buddy. All right.
I'm gonna level up this.
This is a day.
Oh.
How badly do I want to hurt you?
Yikes. Never.
Not badly, I hope.
I was not prepared for that. Well, this sort of was, but sort of wasn't. So I think. Okay. She says, there is a time. There's a time limit when it comes back to bringing you back to life, Callista. It takes a little bit of time. Now I can send you back there, but you will not be fully in control of yourself. The eldritch version of you will become stronger, and that could have some unintended consequences. I can circumvent that, but you'd have to... There'll be something you'll have to give up in the future. There'll be something you need, something you want, from me, and I will not be able to give it to you.
So, just to clarify, my three options are wait to come back to life, go back but not be in control of my eldritch form, or go back fine but give something up later. Cool. I think I know which one I don't want, but then I'm struggling between two. I'm thinking go back, not fully in
I was going to say, because
control.
if you asked me what it was, I would give you a very, very hard move that you would not like. You can
No,
ask,
I don't.
You can ask
You mean
her what
ask
it is.
ask what I have to give up?
You can, and and if you get to manipulate someone, I'd give you this. If you don't get a fail, she'll tell you what it is, but it won't be pleasant. I'm warning
I'll
you.
ask, but yeah, no, I feel like she probably, like, even without knowing what it is, I feel like she wouldn't, because there could be situations worse than this, where she needs something, and if she can't get it, then people will die, and right now she knows that nobody's died yet, at least. So I don't know if she would want to take that risk.
It's up to you. You don't have to.
Yeah. No, I don't think she...
I mean, if you she would... Let me put it this way. If you get a 7 to 9, she'll give you a list of things it could be. But if you get a success, she'll tell you what it would be. And if you fail, she just won't tell you.
Okay.
But, so again, don't have to.
Yeah. Well, now I'm curious. So I might ask anyways. Yeah, okay, so she'll ask by saying, What would I have to give up?
7. Well,
Not a fail.
Callista, there's a lot of different things it could be. It could be that you ask me to bring back one of your friends, and I say no. It could be that you need to be back somewhere quickly to save someone else, and I say no. It could be that I don't let you ferry someone across the shores, because I'd be worried about your eldritch form breaking free on the plane flight. And I don't want to take that away from you. But you have to understand there are rules in the natural order of things. When you make a deal with death, there have to be consequences. It is not a rule I can break. I bend the rules for you, Callista, but I can't fully break them.
Yeah, I don't think Callista would take that risk.
Nope,
I think,
that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
I think she's scared about not knowing how the others are doing, but she knows they're not dead. And I think with what's coming up, she knows there will probably be worse situations than this one, even though that's a little hard. This is a really bad situation. Okay. I have one more question. How long would my eldritch form be more volatile if I choose to go back now?
I'm trying to think if she would tell you that freely or not. She says, until you can get it under control yourself, which, judging by what I've seen, you're having emotional problems. So, it could be the entire time you're tracking down these monsters. Basically, to put this into game mechanics, you will have a disadvantage when it comes to investigations and conversations until you can get it under control. Combat, you will excel. But, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think Callista is scared enough for the safety of the others that she doesn't want to wait, but she also doesn't want to take a huge risk by giving up something later. So I think the middle ground of not controlling the form is going to be the one that she's going to go with. So she she says, yes, my emotions have been difficult to control lately. I haven't felt this many things at once since, well, you know, you were there. But I want to think that after all my years of training and fighting and keeping people safe, I want to think that I still can put all of that first and figure myself out in the process without risking everything else. So I think I'll try to get myself under control, but go back as soon as possible. I want to help, my lady.
She smiles when you say that. She's finished knitting, and it is an Espeon plushie.
Oh my god!
That she hands to you, and it's got like little skull candy makeup on it, and she says, she takes your hand and puts the other hand on your face, says, and that's why I made you an Arch Reaper. Keep doing Nell's voice. That's why I made you an Arch Reaper. Because you know the balance. You understand the risk, and you will put yourself in the firing line if it means helping someone else. That's why you're one of my daughters. And she starts to fill you with a light, and your body is reconstituted, and you are sent back. And we're going to jump back. So go on.
No, I was just saying, awesome.
Yeah. We're going to jump back over to the gang. Let's go back in the heat of the moment, actually. Jimmy, you are frazzled. You are dizzy. But you look around and you see, just on a free roll, you see carnage everywhere you look. What do you want to do in this moment?
I'd like to. I imagine the blast knocked us all down, so I'd like to get up to better assess the situation, look around, and I'm guessing I would see, Nell performing CPR on Flebs.
Yes.
The other people, and probably Fala working on Jericho himself, and Callista just laying on the floor, like bleeding.
Her body's disintegrated. It's gone.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So I have
You
no
would have
idea
seen
where
that.
Callista is then.
Well, no, you probably would have, because you were all right. You probably would have seen her body, like bleed out and disintegrate.
Mm.
Not traumatic at all.
Not
No,
traumatic at
this does not help me. But anyway, Jimmy would like to rage. No. But I guess I would. I guess I would like to investigate a mystery to see if there's any evidence left of what. What the bomb was made up with, since you said it was a homemade bomb.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
So maybe we can get some ideas or something.
Okay. Yeah, go for it. 10. Holy shit.
Let's go.
You take a look at it, and just from a craftsmanship point of view, it is pretty deft. It was made like from pretty standard materials. Like it kind of looks like like a homemade bomb, but some of the stuff that kind of makes it a little bit more unusual was that it was packed with it looks like there was a little space for like a cylinder, and you aren't certain, Jimmy, but it looks like that was the magical center where there would normally be like nitrogen or nitroglycerin and any components to make up a bomb. This had an area for combustible magic inside it.
Okay, having gained that knowledge, I'll store that away for later.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess I would like to move over towards Nell and Flebs to see if I can help Nell
You still got another.
stabilize Flebs.
You still got.
Oh yeah, I
another
still have
point.
another question.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got a 10.
Yeah. Okay. Can I ask? Boy, I don't even know.
I mean, you can ask me, saying look at the flexible alternative. I don't mind that.
Yeah, I'm just not sure how the word because without Jericho we can't. Can I hold that question until we have Jericho up and mobile?
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Because I'd like to ask him if he could do something.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. And you want to go over to Flebs and Nell?
Yeah, and see if I can assist Nell in stabilizing Flebs.
Okay. Yeah, we'll resolve that in a minute then. Fala, let's go to you. You were mostly shielded from what happened, and anything over a fail, I'm going to say you just, get a couple scratches, so no real harm there at the moment. You're pretty dazed as you come round, but what do you want to do?
Fala wants to walk over towards Jimmy and Jericho and start helping and assessing.
Oh, so you're going to go over to Jericho?
him and-
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Or actually, can I change my mind? Can I go
course you
and
can.
investigate the bomb?
Uh,
I'm gonna go and look at it.
you-
Or
yeah,
Is there anything left to see?
Probably, I mean, Jimmy took the cylinder, right?
Yeah, I took the cylinder.
You can
yes.
go. You could.
okay.
You can go talk to Jimmy and exchange notes. That's also an option.
Okay. Let's see. Actually, I am gonna go over to Jericho then. I
Okay.
think, and go and help him how I can, or at least assess him.
Okay, yeah. You can make a roll for that to read a bad situation, or even I guess it'd just be a sharp roll, right?
Yeah, one or the other.
Whichever one you want. Okay. Yeah. You don't really know what to do here. And your thoughts are focused on making sure Gus and Minerva are okay.
Okay.
Which I think is valid.
That is valid.
Jericho, I'm not going to make you roll for
Hi.
anything right now because you are in a heap of pain.
Awesome.
Trying to think. Actually, no, I know exactly who comes over. Endicott transports in front of you, and he starts. He kneels down and he looks very tired and concerned. He says, "It's okay, son. Just hold still. I'm going to stop the bleeding. It's still, well, looks like you've burnt it already, but still, I'm going to do my best, okay?" And he just looks at you, he's like, Jericho? Are you with me, Jericho? Or have you passed out?
You said earlier that I wasn't conscious.
Oh, did I?
After the blood.
Oh, I'm so sorry. All right, okay. Yeah, fair enough. Good for me to not remember that. Okay, so he's using magic, and you are sweating profusely as he... Yeah, 13. So he heals you, Jericho, and you begin to come round as you look up at Endicott, who is feverishly using a very bright light of this magic to stop the pain is even though you're in shock, there was still quite a bit of pain. It's now going, and you feel a sensation run down from the stump on your arm. He is giving you a magical limb. Similar to the hand that you got when you were in the Hotel Inertia. But this one is made from arc lightning. And you see it's pure light. And it doesn't have the same feeling as your actual hand, you can tell that. And you feel like if you lost focus, you would lose it. And Endicott makes eye contact with you and says, you used to watch those Chinese cartoons growing up, didn't you, Jericho?
They are Japanese and they're called anime.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm old. Well, I believe one of the ones you liked had a suit of armor that talked, and a blonde boy who clapped his hands together to make incantations.
Yeah.
What was that one called, Jericho? And you see him fiddling, and he keeps trying to get your attention on him as he's fiddling. What was it called?
Half Iron Scientist.
That doesn't seem right.
Yes, I believe it was Siblinghood. That was the one you liked.
Yeah.
Well,
not the original one.
Well, you're going to be just like that main character. Because I'm giving you a metal arm.
Ivan.
Ivan? You hear the sound of like a bolts being put together, and then the shutting sound of metal. And you now have a metal arm with lightning, like a lightning arm encased in it, as a way of channeling your energy and your magic. you're still pretty bad. You've taken, he's healing you, but, like, you still took, like, I mean, the blast on a fail gave you 6 harm. I'm gonna say you've healed 4 harm from that. I think that's fair. So you're still pretty out of it as you come around.
All right, got that down. Awesome.
And yeah, you he brings you to sit upright, and he checks you over and says, what on earth happened, Jericho?
There was an explosion. He kind of points over to the direction of the desk. A couple of voices in the sky. One really familiar one. In the moment he kind of wasn't counting closer. Have you seen Nish and Kruger?
No. The last I saw of Kruger, he was going to the dojo. Said he needed to see his father. Nish, I can't remember the last time I saw her. It's been weeks. Why?
We all right before the blast, we all got phone calls, communications. Point is, each one of us had someone that we cared about that we couldn't get in contact with right before the blast. While the voices were monologuing, one of them again reinferred, issued out the challenge for the Fractal Hunt, and then explosion.
Jericho, you sent this one into a portal, did you not?
Confusingly, Jericho says, this one?
We will need to talk later. But, this could be a problem. If you are alright, Jericho, I'm going to see what I can do for young Flebs over there.
Please do.
And he walks over, and Jimmy, you are standing there as well. Did you want to do anything to help Flebs? Oh, no, sorry, that was for Jimmy.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, like I said, I was just gonna go over and see if I could help Nell, but I'm guessing would I roll to help out or act under pressure if I'm trying to, stem the flow of blood coming out of Flebs?
Yeah, you can roll to act under pressure if you want. Or roll to help out, whichever one you want. Okay. Yeah, Jimmy, seeing...
I don't know nothing.
Yeah, well, no, on a fail, on a 4, seeing Flebs just unconscious, bleeding out everywhere, he is face down in a pool of his own blood. It's too much for you. You leave the room entirely. Whether you jump out of the side wall onto the street below, because there's a huge hole there, or you go into the hallway, that's up to you, but you just leave the room. This is too much for you.
Yeah, Jimmy will go out through the hole in the wall. And
Okay.
I have a question out of character real quick.
Yeah, sure.
JJ said that the last fractal was at our doorstep.
Yes, he did. Good for paying attention.
Is he still there? At our doorstep, or
That
is he
would be
like
a
in the
great
building?
thing to go and have a look for. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you go down to ground floor level. You jump down about 20 feet, 30 feet. And
I'm gonna move towards the front door of the building.
Okay. Endicott goes over and gently pushes Nell aside and says, "It's all right. I've got him." And again, he uses magic, and that faint glow comes in. And on a 10, he stabilizes Flebs. and says, he is not going to be conscious or battle ready for a while. You will need to sit this one out, my friend. And he starts directing traffic with a shell-shocked Nell, who gets back on the saddle. And they move Jericho and Flebs to the infirmary. Fala, you are left sort of behind, and I'm imagining now that you know Gus and Minerva all right.
Yeah.
Gus had hidden himself in your hair, and Minerva had pocketed up already. So, before I kind of lead along, what do you want to do? Anything now that you sort of got your faculties back?
Yeah. Can I? Trying to decide what would be the best thing. So, Jimmy's left. Who all is left in the room? Is there anything?
No, there's no one there now. Like, as in actual people.
Are you implying me and Fala aren't
I'm
people?
I'm gonna read a bad situation.
Okay, no problem.
Nice. And I'm gonna ask, are there any
12, okay.
dangers that we haven't noticed for my first one?
Well, yeah, there's the fractal downstairs that JJ alluded
Okay.
to.
Yeah.
And there is something in the air that just, it's putting you on edge. It is powerful magic, and it is all around you. It is in the air itself. But I would say that the direct danger you ever noticed is the fractal downstairs.
All right, then if that's the most pressing thing, Fala, can I hold the other questions
Yeah.
and head downstairs?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, then I'll start heading towards the front door.
You go downstairs and join
Not
Jimmy.
jumping out of the window.
Yeah, you join Jimmy, who is staring at the entrance to the building, where a individual has been impaled over the Nightmare Detective sign, and
Oh,
has been
shit.
drained of every ounce of magical energy they have. They're just a husk. And
Do we recognize who it is?
no, you don't. But you both have a question each, so this is your time to use it.
I will now use both of their questions.
Yeah, don't jump on
I
Slow
mean,
her down.
you're welcome to recommend a question. I sort of have one. I'm trying to formulate it better to make sure that I'm. But if you have one off the top of your head, please. I'd like
Oh, I did not. No, I just want to break
Oh.
the silence.
You freaking not
You
helpful.
guy.
I was being left alone my
Okay.
thoughts. I could not.
Okay, so then my question is then if we don't recognize who it is, I guess which fractal is it? And they're dead, yeah, like super dead.
They are
or just
definitely
drained
dead. They are most definitely
Okay,
dead.
super definitely dead. Okay, then yeah, what fractal was it and who?
You go to Jimmy, and you guys talk about what Jimmy found, because there was a cylinder. And Jimmy, you take the cylinder out, and there's a faint glow when it goes near this individual, and you are able to put together that this is the air fractal known as Chatri.
Repeat that last part one more time. There was a bit of cutting.
Yep. This is the air fractal known as Chatri.
Okay.
And obviously you've still got a question, so if you want to inspect his belongings or anything like that, like, by all means.
Yes.
Yeah.
For my second question.
Yep.
I would like to ask what is being concealed here.
There is.
I I was gonna say, I guess to like, see what he has, like on his person that that we can't see, just by looking at him. So I guess.
Yeah, you go through his pockets. You get him down first. You go through his pockets, and he has some possessions on him. But the one thing he had was a note in the same font and style as the one left on the table. And it says, "I knew you would persist, because that's the kind of people you are. So if you're reading this, you want to participate and not be an audience member. If this is the case, gather your people and find us. Tick-tock, tick-tock." You read the clue on Chatri's body, and it's pretty uncomfortable when you read through it. I believe one of you still got a question, Fala, if I'm not mistaken.
I do.
Do you want to save it and meet up with everybody else, or do you want to ask it now? You want to save it?
No, I want to save it.
We're gonna move things forward just by an hour. The city has begun an evacuation. People have been leaving in droves. There is reports of damage across other parts of Sturgeon, but it is too scattered at the moment to figure out what's going on. Jericho, you passed out again, just probably from the pain and exhaustion, and you wake up, and the rest of the detectives are standing around you, as is Nell and Endicott.
She's like dramatic, like anime wake up. She's like jolt up, like.
Do whatever you want. Do you want to be an anime character, or do you want to just wake up slowly?
I was thinking whenever Callista comes back from the dead, that's exactly what happens.
It's like been underwater. No, you just haven't been breathing.
Yeah.
So you wake up however you want. Do you want to do the anime sit forward, or?
I'm just gonna jolt up, do the and then exclaim, I'll die on Switch fear to my T-Rex.
Endicott just says, well, it's a rather spirited reaction, and given that you just lost a fucking arm. So yes, good to see you up and around, Jericho boy.
I lost the.
Yes.
I can put that pass back up.
Yes. Oh, okay. All right. Well, let me try something from my old college days.
I'm joking. Do not try anything from your college.
And you see him just like he's attaching a rubber glove and just like the. Well, okay, fine. Nell is feverishly pacing and says, well, I'm glad you're awake, Jericho. Wish I could say the same for Flebs, but and you all turn and look, and Flebs is hooked up to a breathing machine. And he is not moving, obviously.
Oh, don't worry about him, Miss Lockwood. Flebs has survived a whole lot of shit. I personally, as someone who's healed him a lot, who's had to like invert like muscle that's been like chewed on and like and pulled away. I think he's gonna make a full recovery. And I make like a little OK symbol with my new robot, with my new like robot arm.
Well, I admire.
That is gonna be freaky to get used to.
Yes, I admire your optimism, Jericho. I think we should gather what information we do have and go from there. Did any of you find anything?
Real quick, am I there?
Nope.
Am I alive now?
Nope.
Okay, just checking.
Nope.
Let's try, Lucy. You're still dead in hell.
You dead as hell, Lucy.
You said all the detectives, so I just wanted to make sure.
No, you didn't just magically reapparate. No, you're not dead.
That's
You're
fine.
Not
That's fine. I'm
you
just
will,
checking.
you will be. Don't you worry.
I'm not.
Fala gestures to Jimmy and just kind of nudging him to show what he has, and just tells no. We found some information, and we.
Jimmy presents Nell with the note and the canister.
She looks it
And-
over. Oh, sorry, go on.
And I have a question.
Yeah.
Did we just leave the body in the street?
No, I imagine someone from staff brought it in.
Okay.
Okay. Like you would have notified someone.
Okay.
But she didn't know.
I was
what
just
you
making
found.
sure because,
Okay.
like, you know, we have a problem with this walking away from things and just leaving them wherever
we
they're
do.
at.
We do. It
No,
is someone
no.
else's problem.
To be
You've got
fair,
a
like,
mortician.
I should. If
I did.
if this were D&D, I probably would have just made you like leave it there. Like I would have said like, oh, you didn't roll for it. But no, just for the sake of the story, you would have probably told someone to bring it in. And Nell says, this was found on the body left out there. I assume it is a fractal.
Yes, it was.
Hey, give that to me.
Okay. She hands you the cylinder and the note.
Upon further fractal investigation by a fractal, this is definitely a fractal.
Oh, I thought you were going to. Oh, okay. Thank you, Jericho. Is that it? Do you just want to look it over to say that?
I want to keep Jericho, not Trevin, wants to keep holding on to it.
When Jericho says that, Jimmy turns away and not looking at him, and he's trying not to laugh.
Understandable. Okay. You all had some correspondence when that announcement came out. I assume you haven't been able to reach whoever that was.
Yep, both Nish and Kruger are not responding to me.
And she shakes her head and says, okay, well, if that's a fractal that we have in our morgue, and that's the note that was left by dear Mr. Watson, we have a bit of a situation on our hands. And I assume you are all ready to go to work.
When she says work, Jimmy turns back around and goes full Sasquatch.
Jericho starts to stand up out of the bed.
Fala?
Yeah, Fala just looks and says, yeah, I'm ready. I'm trying to look through notes. Fala didn't get any communication when that happened, is that correct?
No, she just knows that Dr. Good Doctor is in danger.
Okay.
She turns to you and says, Fala, if you'd be so kind, I'd like you to do an autopsy on our new fractal friend while the others go to work. You're too valuable. I need you to do some investigations.
Okay. And, yeah, Fala will walk back to her clinic, and the body's in her clinic, right? She doesn't have to go.
Nope, it's in your
somewhere else.
clinic.
Okay,
Yeah.
Good. My clinic, my rules. Yeah, let's go.
And she says, well, it looks like the rest of you are ready. I'm sure Callista's not far behind. I normally don't say this, but I think I'm going to ask you to put yourselves at bigger risk than you normally would be. Because the people that we care about have been taken. And we can't let this city descend into true chaos, nor can we bend to the whims of madness.
I much appreciate the motivational speech, but I want you to know, when Chandra and Cougar being in danger, there's damn near nothing that I won't do. And Jericho like puts his hat back on.
Jimmy looks at Nell and's like, Miss Lockwood, sometimes to fight evil, you have to become evil. So, if what we're fighting is truly evil, as you know it is, and we think we know it is, from just our experiences, sometimes the good guys have to do bad things. So, if you're asking us to take more risks to save the people of Sturgeon, well then some of the things we may do may look bad. So I just want you to know that what we do here and now in pressing forward may not be understandable to an outside view. But always remember that, we are fighting for the side of good here. And sometimes good people have to do bad things.
I think all things considered, Jimmy, as long as we get the people we love back with minimal casualties and put these monsters to justice, we do what needs to be done.
Agreed.
Endicott kind of clears his throat and says, well, given that Miss McNamara is autopsying and Flebs boy is out of action and we don't know when Callista's coming back, I'd like to offer my assistance. Temporarily. Should you have me?
Of course. So it's always a pleasure to have you in the party, Magister.
And as each of you agrees to fight, you hear a voice from behind you saying, well, that is certainly an inspiring speech, and also not that surprising. Hello, folks. And it's Deimos.
Hey, been a while. How's it going, Fractal friend?
Well,
Uh,
it's certainly a unique time to be alive, Jericho. And, I'd ask how you're doing, but I already know. So you're involved. You're getting into this, yeah? That's what I heard?
Of course, but you knew that already. We both voted in this for the same thing those couple weeks ago.
Well, I knew you were involved, Jericho. I meant your friends. The last Sin Eater over there, the last Sasquatch over there, your time-traveling autopsy surgeon, the Eldritch one. They're all involved. I know Specs over there is not going to be joining you, but you're all in, huh? I'll take your silence as a yes. Don't know if you're just a little bit intimidated, but that's not a problem. You'll all be roped in anyway. Okay, well, then I guess the Fractal Hunt will move to its first stage. And...
First stage is one already dead.
Oh, that was just the prologue, my friend. And you remember, Jericho, that a fractal was screaming when you were in the meeting Its eyes brightened and its mouth opened, and then it fell to its knees.
Yeah, it was the air fractal, the guy we just found outside.
Yeah, that was Chatry. So the Fractal Hunt had already begun, but this is the first stage they're moving to. And each of you feels a slight burning sensation on the side of your neck. Because all of you have been marked. Fala, you included, even though you're not there at the moment.
Okay.
And this binds you to the Fractal Hunt. And until you until you die, you cannot back out. Until you win, you cannot back out. You cannot leave Sturgeon. And you are now both drawing yourselves and they are drawn to you. Deimos waves his hand. And a chart comes up. And it says Fractal Ranking System. And a lot of the names are blurted out. And instead, they have nicknames. And if you want to read them, you'll have to roll for it. But for the moment, what I will say is that right at the bottom, at number 14, is Stormbringer Jericho Branch. And in brackets, it has your threat level, Jericho. Do you remember what your threat level was the last time we went through this? Obviously, this was off air, but...
Let me pull the chart back up. Because I know I remember initially I kind of lowballed it, but I don't remember it.
That's okay. So, and I might get this completely wrong, but I believe I put you at a mid, like an early to mid cyclone. And a cyclone to refresh everyone's memory, so we go back. So avalanche is the weakest. Then there's volcanic. I won't read all the descriptions. These will be in the description of the video. Deluge, which is the mid tier. Cyclone, nuclear, which is high, and then there were the beyond tiers. Omega and boundless. With Omega, there have only been a dozen instances in Sturgeon's entire history, and boundless, there have only ever been 3. And I believe when you were original, non-fractal Jericho, you were a high deluge to early cyclone. And now you've awakened to the Stormbringer, you are probably between a mid to high cyclone and maybe a really weak nuclear, but I would put you in the cyclone category. But that still has you at the bottom of the rankings, Jericho.
Oh, no. Okay. This is great. Everyone loves a good underdog story.
Do any of you want to roll to see if you can read any of the stuff on the chart?
I'd like to. Yes, actually.
Okay, go ahead.
Can I roll to help out?
Yeah.
I'm not very helpful to Jericho right now.
You tried, yeah. You tried, Jimmy. You did try. You know. Okay, so.
Oh god.
All right, I'm just eyeballing. Dang it, what's his name now?
Deimos.
Deimos. Yeah, I'm just eyeballing him anyway.
Okay.
And would this be a roll magic or investigate?
This could.
I mean, weird.
That's a really good question. He's using magic, so you could roll magic or you could roll sharp to interpret.
Cool.
Wow. Holy shit. All right,
Jericho
well.
didn't need my help anyway.
All right, let me take a deep breath in for the lore dump. Okay. So, Jericho, you go through this, and obviously, like I said, some of this is redacted, so you are not able to ascertain everything on this list, and you're gonna have to bear me. I need to update the imagery here for a second. How do you see all this, Jericho? Like, what is it you're doing that allows you to see everything on here? Like, are you casting a spell, or what's the deal?
Um, as Jericho approaches like Demos' chart,
Oh, you don't get to approach. Oh,
Wha-
sorry, I should be clear. You do not get to approach. This is just from your distance. I am
gotcha.
pretty sure he would not let you approach because you're on a fractal hunt. So anyone is fair game.
Gotcha. Well, then I guess Jericho would activate the third eye, except instead of it like manifesting as a physical third eye on his body, like he closes his eyes and both his eyes have like the avian like raven slits to them now.
Okay.
And he's just able to like kind of magically read it closer.
Okay. So yeah, you see that yours is marked at the weakest. Next to you is Brimstone, which you know is Babylon's stump. Above Babylon is the Squall, which is air. That's Chatri. Next up on there is the Upheaval. Above them is the Deluge. Above them is the Stain. Next is the Godweight. Then there is the Endless Expanse. Then there is the Beautiful Cadence. Then there is the Nightmare Catcher. Then there's the Vitality. Then there is the Inevitable Destruction. Then there is the Umbral Weaver. And the last one is the First Fractal.
Just to say, I could put that in the chat somewhere.
Yeah, I can put that in the chat.
But yeah, or that's
I
fine.
got like half of them.
Because I was gonna say,
I actually got them all.
I'm trying to
I
miss
missed like 2, but I got most of them.
Okay. Okay.
While this is going on, can Jericho roll telepathy on Deimos?
Yeah, sure. I should mention that some of the names also have power levels next to them. And just to kind of put this into perspective, Jericho, so like I said, yours is Cyclone with some question marks. Chatri was a Cyclone. When it gets to the Godweight, it goes to Nuclear. And when it gets to Time, it's Omega. And when it gets to the last 3, it's Boundless. Just kind of give you an idea of what you're going
Which
up
one
against.
was supposed to be Time?
Time is the Beautiful Cadence.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Well,
I will need to take out some info because I have some names in here. And obviously you can guess because some of these you might know. You know, you may know who some of these are.
Mhm.
Let me just quickly get these. I need to take these out. So you need to take out their elements as well, so that you can kind of figure out. Well, mind you, you did no. To be fair, no. That's metagaming. You got the really high roll. So I will add this in a second. But I am gonna take out the names, but like I'll give you the elements of what they are. I think that's only fair.
Okay. Gotcha.
Hold on. Sorry, just take a second. There we go. Okay, so there's a couple that I'm going to mark as unranked, and that's just because it's not ranked on the actual thing you're seeing. And I'm not, that's not me, what's the word I'm looking for? Metagaming, but that genuinely is, these names are just on there, but they're not ranked. Okay, so, it's Lightning for Stormbringer, Fire, Brimstone, Air, the Squall, Earth, the Upheaval, Water, the Deluge, Paint, the Stain, Gravity, the Godweight, Space, the Endless Expanse, Time, the Beautiful Cadence, Life, the Vitality, Death, the Inevitable Destruction, The first fractal does not have an element next to it. And then unranked are Dreams, also known as the Nightmare Catcher, and Shadows, the Umbral Weaver. And I've put that in character info for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And I've got a couple of charts. I would like you guys to choose which one we utilize for this. But yeah. So what is your telepathy? Let me see what roll did you get? So I've had that closed. Okay, so you got a.
I think it's just our investigator missed.
Okay,
I never rolled
rolled.
the telepathy yet.
Well, thank you for being honest. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me a roll.
Okay. That was terrible.
Yeah. Does it say anything happens on a fail?
But what I said, it's good. You can also maybe someone. It does not say if anything happens
Okay,
on a fail.
that's fine. So when you do it, instead he's probing into your mind, and a voice in your head, which you assume is Deimos, says, "You know, one of them's gonna fucking die, and you're gonna hold another friend in your arms, and it'll be your fault." And bear in mind, you can't respond to this because it's in your fucking head, and he's just staring ahead at you. So that's not pleasant. And he kind of like cocks his head to the side and says, "Well, I do admire you trying, Jericho, but no dice." So there's your rankings.
It's worth.
Oh yeah, sure, I understand. There's your rankings. These will change, but well. If you're ready, the first game is about to begin.
Just but ready as I ever be.
Jimmy?
Jimmy's ready as well.
Okay. He clicks his fingers, and you are sent to a different space entirely. Nell is left behind. Flebs is left behind. Fala, we're going to go to you in a second. But you are taken to a studio, an actually really nice looking studio, where all the participants, if they are there, they are hidden away. You cannot see them. It seems to be like it's hard to explain, but like one of those ones where like a whose line is it anyway sort of thing. But like all the lights are dimmed, and you cannot see who will be there, what they'd look like or anything like that, because it's just so goddamn dark. And it's one of those things that you probably a little bit disorienting to begin with. But you are immediately put under spotlight as you hear a theme song that you've heard before. If I can actually find it, that would be great. I thought I had it to hand, and I did not. Hold on a moment, guys. Oh gosh, where is it? You know, one of those things I just thought I had, and that's so irritating. Hold on a minute. Is it truth? Oh gosh, it's gonna kill me. I don't think it was truth. Nope. You have to bear with me, gang. I need this for the scene.
No, you're fine. Whenever stuff like this takes a minute, I get to flush out my notes more. So.
Yeah, good idea. The lights dim, and you hear a familiar song. And an announcer comes up and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, he has been off the air for some time on a break, but it's time for the reunion with JJ Watson." And everyone starts clapping as JJ like floats down from the heavens. Pretty horrifying looking, and you realize it's actually a hologram of him. It's not physically him. And he bows and says, thank you. It's good to be back amongst some of my favorites in Sturgeon. And we have some delightful games for you. At least while we wait for the last one to turn up. So, why don't we get started? And he looks over at you, Jimmy, and says, how about you, big man? Why don't we start with you?
I'm ready whenever you are.
He smells says, "Oh, he's very eager, folks. If you can get 3 out of the 5 games right, I will take you straight to the next fractal. Lose, and you'll go to the penalty round." Oh boy. He invites you up to center stage while you guys are all standing on a little platform, like around this empty audience. And Jimmy, you walk up, and the back of the stage, sort of like the backing wall of it, just kind of floats away. And you see, it's like a shooting gallery, but there's an area for you to walk in, and it looks like there's nothing in the shooting gallery. It's like actually not a shooting gallery, sorry, a whack-a-mole. It's like a whack-a-mole thing. And JJ walks over to the right, where there is a huge wheel, and it's called the Wheel of Misfortune. Very creative, I know. And he says, Stage 1 is a game catered to each member of the Nightmare Detectives. Should you succeed, you do not have to spin this wheel. If you fail, well, you don't want to fail. Jimmy, your game is called Test Your Might. We are going to pop up some special magical individuals that you need to hit with all your might. In short, we would like Jimmy to rage. And the crowd starts shouting, "Rage, rage, 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 rage." Does Jimmy rage?
Jimmy would like to rage.
Attaboy.
Such a good line.
You do that, and he smiles very wide, and he's still wearing this hood, right? And like he's put it back up, and it's like covering like the top of his head. Like you could see his smile, you could tell it's him, and he's got the suit still underneath the hood. He's like, Good, Jimmy. All right, folks, let's see if Jimmy would like to rage. Test your might. And the way this is going to go, I think... Well, there's a couple ways it's going to go, but basically, you're going to have a few facsimiles of people come up, and you're going to have to hit them with everything you have. And I'm wondering... so I'm gonna this might be a bit collaborative here, Jimmy, but if I give you a name, you tell me how much you'd hesitate, if at all, and we would base that on the advantage and disadvantage you'd have when using your tough roll. Does that seem fair?
That seems fair, yes.
Okay. So the lights dim, and the first one that pops up is bear in mind, these are 3D facsimiles, and it's Flebs.
Jimmy would hesitate to hit Flebs only because he knows what happens when he was, playing, not even like meaning to hit Flebs hard, and so I wouldn't.
Hello,
Jimmy would
Flebs.
hesitate a little bit.
It's me. It's Flebs.
Jericho just that background side eyeing. I'm like,
So it's a little bit. So, how much? Like, as in, would it be enough that you would pull your punches, or just that you would think about it for a minute?
Well, Jimmy knows that Flebs ain't here, and he's with, so he'd probably think about it, and then just,
All right.
go full bore, I guess.
All right, I will give you. I'll let you just do a straight tough roll then. No disadvantage on this one because it's your first one. Wow.
Jesus.
You miss and fall over and bump your head, and Flebs just stands there like, wow, you're kind of a pussy, huh? And the crowd just goes, ooh. And JJ's like, ooh, that's gotta hurt. I don't want to see our first contestant fall at the first hurdle, do you, folks? Let's give him another try, shall we? How about let's try something simpler. And Flebs disappears, and what pops out this time is okay, yeah, what pops out this time is the face of Dr. Schlengel. Well, not the face, the body of Dr. Schlengel.
Ooh.
There's no hesitation there.
All right,
so
+1 advantage. Roll
all
tough
right.
+1. Now, I can't save you if you fail again. Perfect, 12.
Nice.
You hit this thing so hard, it you break its jaw. You the jaw break, and before it could even say, "I'm Dr. Schleck," and it goes flying past the other like areas and goes into the wall, and you hear the crowd just like, "Ooh, well done, remarkable skill there." He says, on to round 2. And this time, I don't know how unfair to make this. Now, this time who pops up is Paint Gunkerson.
I knew it. I thought he was going to come up last time.
I would say Jimmy would probably pull his punch with Paint Gunkerson.
All right. Oh, buddy. Okay. I think that would probably just be. I don't know if he's pulling his punch. Shit. Because you realize when you say that, you got to roll with a disadvantage, right?
Yes, but.
And if you fail, you have to roll the Wheel of Misfortune. That's okay, as long as you understand that.
You're right.
I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just making sure you understand how this works.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I will still say Jimmy would pull his punch with Paint Gunkerson.
Okay, that's
I'm
fair.
not going to change it.
No. All right, so roll with a -1 on your tough roll, bud. Wow, you're really making it hard.
So you have to put the -1, right?
You do.
What was that? I'm sorry, you cut out, Tej.
You do, yes. I believe it's the plus that doesn't work. The minus does.
Okay.
I believe. I'll double check it. I'll check it when you roll. Nope. Wow. Well, you got an 11, so... Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was a natural... Yep. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you pull your punches, because you fucking clock him, and you hit him so hard that you crack his skull. And bits of brain matter go flying across the floor, and he is rolling on the ground and seizing and twitching. And then it stops, and his corporeal body fades away, and the crowd's like, oh, my goodness, I didn't realize that Jimmy was so violent. Goodness gracious. On to round 3. You're halfway through, Jimmy. On the third one, it's Wendy.
Jimmy will not pull his punch or hesitate.
Attaboy. Roll with a +1, I think. 13. Wow. Yeah, you are just getting stronger, and you're getting, Jimmy, you're getting bigger. As you're doing this, Jimmy, you are getting bigger and redder, and the fur is coming out on you. And you actually hit her with a combination as she pops out the hole. You hit her with an uppercut that raises her off her feet. You hit her once in the face, and then you round kick her and send her into the stands on a 13. And yeah, bravo. And JJ says, well, this is really turning out to be exciting. But since you failed the first time, you got 2 more to go, Jimmy. 2 more, and you get 1 round done for your team. All right. Next one that comes up is Callista.
I knew it.
Jimmy's going to take a disadvantage here.
Yep, fair enough. -1.
I'll take...
14. Well, it doesn't matter.
Jesus,
Jimmy,
you rolled a 15? You rolled a 15?
You're literally rolling higher and higher as you go.
Jimmy, you are beginning to
The
lose.
rage is taking over.
Well, yes, because you are beginning to lose control. She pops up and you snap her neck. You don't even hit her. You physically grab her and you snap her neck, and then you start choking her like she's dead, but you're ragdolling her. You are rapidly losing control. And JJ is like gang. You don't see this, but the rest of the gang see JJ just really loving this. Says, "Very good, Jimmy. One more push, shall we?" And the last person who pops up, Jimmy, is Tracy.
Jimmy stands frozen. Breathing hard.
Well, Jimmy, unfortunately, I do have to tell you that you are losing control of your rage right now.
I know. I know. But I will still take the disadvantage on this one as well.
Okay. It's a -2 because, like, this is Tracy and you're frozen. Yeah. Okay. You do not act. I am gonna have to take a couple of 2 hard moves back to back on you here, Jimmy. I'm sorry about this. JJ. Oh man. JJ is very disappointed in you and says, "Well, I thought that would motivate you, so that's a shame. And now, before you roll the wheel of misfortune, you are going to be penalized." And you are rooted to the spot, and the visage of Tracy in front of you is turned into the mangled form when you met her. And JJ walks up, and he raises her with his hand, like a puppet, and begins to make her talk to you. And in his voice says, "My name's Tracy, and I don't love you anymore, and it's your fault that I'm dead." And he leans in to look at you to see if you try to do anything, Jimmy.
I do. I want to try to break free of whatever's binding me.
You cannot. You
Okay.
you gotta fail. And
Yeah.
he is, what he's trying to do is he's looking at your reaction as well. And I would say, like, at the very least though, Jimmy, you are getting bigger and like you're still growing, right? Like you're getting hairier. Yeah,
Yes, I'm
I
still
think,
getting angry.
yeah, I think that's fair. But because of the penalization and the fact you realize though, Jimmy, that wherever you've been transported to, you have no control over it. Like, the rules of this place are not beholden to you. And that's something for, obviously, Jericho. If you want to take a think on that, as I say that, by all means, if you want to roll at any point. He says, disappointing. And he snaps the neck of the Tracy doll. And it drops to the ground in a heap. And it disappears. And he walks over to the wheel and says, as you've probably realized, contestant, you don't run things around here. Now I can spin this wheel for you, and you can watch and take the penalty. Or you could be a good boy and do it yourself. And bear in mind, as I probably should mention, he is also a hologram. Sorry to say.
Jimmy will look over at JJ, and with what little humanity is left in Jimmy, he will say, I'll spin your fucking wheel.
And the moment you say that, you are freed. I will grant you, if you want to throw anything or damage anything to get something like that, I think it's only fair, but yeah.
No, I just want to spin the wheel, please.
Okay. Yep, go ahead. All right, so for this, Jimmy, you're going to roll cool. And depending on what you roll will depend on how severe the offer is in front of you. 7. Okay. The wheel rolls round, Jimmy. And it stops on the color magenta. And there's a little symbol on there. Which is like a... it's like a brain with a hook on it. And JJ says, well, I'm going to make you an offer, Jimmy. I will give you the round regardless, in exchange for something of yours. Should you not take the deal, you will be penalized. If you accept my offer to take your last memories of Tracy away from you, you win the round. You will still think she's alive out there, waiting for you. You will no longer know what happened to her.
Jimmy stands there and he's thinking. And he'll finally look at JJ. And he says, I'll take your deal.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Oh. He takes a step back and says, well, that was unexpected. It is done. And Jimmy, the last thing you ever remember of Tracy is leaving the house, saying goodbye, and going off and doing your hunt. And as far as you know, whether the house was burned down and she got away, whether she left, kidnapped, you don't know. Because you no longer remember that she was killed and left outside for you to find. Okay. Wow. Fala, we're gonna jump over to you for a minute. I need to think about what I just did.
Yeah.
Fala, you have the body of this fractal in front of you. And obviously you've been asked to dissect in and investigate it before you join the rest of them. What would you like to do with that?
Let's see.
Because I kind of want to give you a bit more of a hybrid Giles and combat role for this campaign. Or this arc.
Yeah. No, I like that a lot, actually.
Because there's also not a lot that they can, in terms of like offering deals and stuff, like because we're still learning about your character, it doesn't make a lot of sense to pull you into that right now.
Correct, yeah. No, I think that's absolutely fair. So I will... I will investigate a mystery.
Okay. You'll have an
So, yeah.
advantage because you have the body with you. So you have a +1 advantage.
Great. And so yeah, Fala's gonna just start
Mhm.
cutting into the body, just doing a normal autopsy procedure, and just ask. Let's see. I'll roll first. This one.
9. Okay, well done.
All right. And yeah, I'll go ahead and ask what happened here. So what exactly happened to his body?
Yeah. Essentially, Fala, what happened was that this was a fractal, and he was drained of every part of magical essence he ever possessed. In the exact same style of what nearly happened to Jimmy, before you saved his life. And you have been observing this and cataloging this in the background since that happened. It is uncanny how it's done exactly the same way, and everything from him is gone. The last bit of magical essence that is left within him was in that cylinder, and that was an air bomb, which are, if you know it, like, I don't know if anyone knows anything about this in the real world, but air pockets or air bombs are extremely deadly. And yeah, that's what you surmise looking at it.
Okay. And trying to think of, is there anything else that I can do? Because I only got the one because I did a mixed success. Is there anything?
Oh, I thought you got 7 to 9. It's hold 1, is it? I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay.
I think you would, I think probably, like, start cutting into the body and, like, learning anything about it physically. In which case, you'll do another roll. You'll do a second roll for that.
Yes. Sweet.
Which would be a really bad situation.
Okay.
Wow, Fala.
Hell
First
yeah.
roll. All right,
13.
so I'm going to give you, on a 13, I'll give you a flexible question. You can ask me anything, and then you'll have one you can choose from the selection. And if you have anything extra, I
Okay.
might give you that. You got a 13, and I want to give you a lot to do.
Yeah. Let's see. As far as my flexible question,
Also, I have the Wheel of Misfortune in the chat, and I'd like you guys to choose which one represents it best. You also haven't chosen from the charts, so please do that soon as well.
oh right.
That's okay.
So Fala is looking at the body, and so if the same thing that happened to Jimmy is what happened to this fractal,
Yes.
what can I sense? What is causing this magic drain? Where is this coming from, and who is doing the magic draining?
Yeah, well, you would not be able to follow the trail because you are not magically inclined. However, you would be able to figure out. You would be able to figure out what kind of. I think you'd be able to figure out the sort of like who did it from a fractal sense. Like I think it would be sort of become apparent to you. But like that would take some degree of research. So what you wanna do? First question is, or is this from the? Sorry, is this a flexible alternative or is this a?
That would have been my flexible alternative.
So you want to you want to know what kind of fractal would have done this? Essentially, is the question.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because then we at least know who's doing most damage
I will
now.
narrow it down for you. So I think that's the best I can do.
That's fair.
It would either be the life fractal, known as the vitality,
Okay.
the death fractal, known as the inevitable destruction, and you suspect it could be the space fractal, known as the endless expanse. So on the ranking system, that's number 5, number 3, or number 2.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's as far as your narrowing down can go.
5, number 3, number 2. Right.
Jericho, I need you to decide
Okay.
between the wheels for me, because we've got a tie for both of these.
Okay.
And then while they're doing that, Amy, what was your second question?
Second question is. Sorry, I got distracted looking.
No,
at
you're
the
fine. You're fine.
wheels. This is a read a bad situation question. So I guess what is the best way to protect the victims? Because if this is happening to Chachi,
Yes.
it could happen to.
Oh, what a good
Jericho,
choice.
how
Thank
do
you
we
for that.
protect
Giving me that question. The best way of protecting the victims through your investigation is to. Well, you realize, Fala, that this is no different to some of the nightmares you've autopsied when it's about alpha male supremacy. And I deign to use that term because it's sort of outdated, but it's the closest approximation. What I mean is, this is where the strongest individuals will look to gain supremacy, because in nature there can be women as well that do this. And you realize that if they are going to be absorbing powers and taking them, Jericho needs to do it first. And you realize this with some cold calculating efficiency of, this is not personal, this is not being savage, it's that it needs to be done because they are going to do it, and if they capture more of these, you realize that that's exactly how the calamity happened, because Callista obviously was an arbiter of that, but it doesn't mean that that's just the end result. The flashpoint could very well be 1 or 2 fractals with all the powers standing atop the a sea of bodies, and Jericho needs to have more of them.
Yeah.
So that's where your investigation's at. Is there anything else you want to do? And we'll come back to you in a bit.
Let's see. Yeah, I actually still have a +1 for my last really good read about situation roll.
Mm-hmm.
And so can I use that one for, are there any dangers that we haven't noticed yet?
Okay. I thought you rolled that one already. No, you asked me that one on.
Oh, no, I did.
you
You're
did.
right. I did.
Okay.
You're right. Then what?
You can hold it if you want to hold it.
Yeah, I'll hold it. Because the only one left is boring. So yeah,
Okay.
I'll be done.
Fala, you start gathering this info, and then you feel your body go a bit light, and before you know it, you are standing on a bright stage with the floating entity of J.J. Watson standing opposite you and smiling. And
What the fuck?
he says, "Sorry to drop you in there, Fala McNamara, but your other colleague is taking their sweet time reincarnating back here, so we decided to spruce things up a little bit. And we're gonna play a game called Standard Procedure." And you turn around, and there is it's a background that's been turned to a mortuary clinic, not dissimilar to your own, and there are 4 chutes where where bodies go, and each of them is currently shut. And JJ says, "All you need to do, Fala, is pull out the bodies, cut them open, and find the gift inside. before the time runs out. Do that, and you have 2 points. Fail, and there will be a penalty.
Fala just kind of looks around and just nods, just kind of assessing the situation, and that I definitely don't have a choice in this.
Okay. Let me quickly grab Fala's character sheet. So I need to just see if you've got any specific skills. Because the other thing is, like, if you have anything specific that's going to help you, I would recommend you utilize it as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Did you put any of your backstory into your bio, by the way?
No, not yet. I can copy and paste.
Have you
it
got
from my
anything you can
notes.
send me, just so I've got it in the background?
Yeah, I can.
Thank
do
you
that.
very much.
Some, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's all.
You walk over, and you go to the first door, and you pull it open, and you see the Leshy that you worked on in the last arc. And JJ says, "You will have 15 minutes to go through all 4 bodies. Starting now." And a gong rings out, and you're underway. I'm just wondering, I think it probably should be cool that you'll roll for this, because to be fair, that's essentially that is your your skill. Or I mean, you could make an argument for sharp, because it's also,
I would love to make an argument.
sharp is smart, whereas cool is keeping your composure.
Yeah. Oh.
What do you guys think?
She's using a sharp instrument.
That's fair. That's fair.
You have to
Literally
be selective
sharp.
with
All right.
Bodies.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna say sharp then. So yeah, it's the
Hell
Leshy, and you failed.
Damn
Um,
it. Oh my
okay.
god.
Well-
Should've taken the
Plus
call.
3 on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fala, you cut into the Leshy, and you are really struggling to find what this what is going on here, and yeah, it just doesn't work. You go to the next body, and this is where you fail, because it's Margot. You are staring at Margot's cold corpse, and I think it completely stops you from continuing.
Yeah, at least for a minute.
Yeah, and
Stop.
yeah, I mean, you completely fail, and the time rings out, and JJ just says, "What a disappointment, and you're supposed to be the good replacement." He makes Margot sit up and smile at you, and again does the puppetry and says, "I'll just be here for later. There's someone else that needs to see me." And then he slams
Like she never left.
he slams the head down and then shuts the door. Poor Callista. She's not gonna like that. He says, "All right, well, I think we need a little bit of change of scenery, so you are going to be penalized. And that means moving you to the pit. And this will be our last little activity for the evening, so we're officially a good note." So the crowd starts shouting, "The pit, the pit, the pit, the pit." And that background switches up, and it is a concave-shaped pit. And Fala, you are already in it. Jimmy, you and Jericho are led towards it, and sort of whether you're tossed in or you jump in, don't know. But JJ is looking there and says, "Well, we have other ways of testing and making sure that you're up to the task. get through our little menagerie, and that is exactly what's going to happen. You will... Wait, no, I didn't mean that. Did I say it right? Well, we love to test our little contestants to make sure they're up for the task. Get through our little menagerie, and there will be a reward waiting for you on the other side. I hope you enjoy a trip down memory lane. And you see the door open in this concave pit. And again, I should mention, this is like a dimensional sort of rift, so it's just either JJ, Deimos, whoever is controlling it, and your enemies come out the other side. You see Corporeal Dennis Rowe, Corporeal Margot Sloan, and Corporeal Eliza. They prepare themselves to get ready and charge at you. And okay, then in that case, let's roll initiative, everybody. So if everybody could give me a sharp roll, please. All right, 7 for Jericho, 10 for Jimmy.
Stupid sharp.
Stupid bitch.
Oh, now we
Sharp
get a
roll.
good one.
Isn't your sharp high?
It is. It's so high. I'm just mad about the last one.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
Give me just a minute.
Imagine
guys.
how Lucy feels.
I'm just chilling.
Give me just a sec, gang. I had to bring these characters back from the dead. Sort of. All right.
Relatable.
All
Too
right.
soon.
I will switch up the music in a moment as well. Sorry. Oh, Margot. Gone too soon.
Back too soon as well.
8 for Margot. Honestly, yeah, back way too soon.
Yeah.
But you know me.
It's being the line having and like the guys like and Usher's like, hey, you can just step out of line. Yeah, they need you back on Earth.
Body's not even cold.
Yikes.
I mean, Dennis and Eliza have been gone for a while, so.
Okay, Marco's been dead for at least 4 weeks. I hope her body's cold.
I mean, she.
Yeah.
I think her body was burnt, so yeah, she's
Yeah, we
fine.
burned it.
Yeah,
So
It's
this is
hot,
like-
so it'd be hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Oh,
Alright.
man,
Margot-
see, and
Be
that's
charred,
the thing,
actually.
it's
Yeah, I
like-
mean, it would be dusty actually, but Margot.
Alright.
Margot is hot.
Should be
in-
dry and ashy then.
Yeah, Margot is hot in life and she's hot in death. That seems pretty fair to me.
Sounds right.
I mean,
Imagine
it
being
checks out.
If this is another 8, I
We
swear
did
to
always
God.
say she had a fiery personality.
Oh,
Wow. Wow.
that one hurt, didn't it? That one hurt
that
to
one
say.
hurt me.
Yeah, no one made you do
It
that
sounded
one.
like it hurt.
You did that one all yourself.
Yeah, I know.
Imagine being
No
like in the
regrets.
line to get into heaven and like the angel Usher's like, hey, you need to step out. They need you back on Earth.
Oh, yeah.
We need you to fight again, actually.
Yeah, we actually
Alright, 6.
you can't
Okay.
come into shit. We need you somewhere else.
Okay.
Also, TJ, I realized, like, as you were doing this, did you ask us about our about the most wild, like the wildest moments from the last arc, just to bring them back here?
No, I actually was just doing
Okay.
that just to pass
Just-
some time.
Just making sure.
No. That was just to pass some time. No. Okay. So, I believe top of the order is going to be Fala, then Jimmy, then Margot, Dennis, Jericho, and Eliza. So I believe we can get through this.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
I'll be taking notes.
Well,
Mhm.
don't take
She's
notes
looking out
too,
for us,
don't
Deb.
take notes for too long. Jeez. All right. So yeah, Fala, tell me what you want to do.
Oh,
Mm,
I got 13 pages.
Oh my goodness,
jeez.
I gave you too much today.
She's had time. She's been regenerating for like 40 minutes.
I know. I haven't been here, so I can take as many notes as I fucking want.
It's like popping a bag of popcorn. So it's like Callista in the can. We're just gonna wait for it to be done.
So are they're actively about to attack?
Yeah, they are moving around you. Like, obviously, I should mention they're not that, they are corporeal forms. Like, they're like you can recognize that they are like you know, dummy bodies, if you will. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but they're uncanny. But yeah, they are maneuvering around towards you.
Okay. Then Fala will get out her stun gun, the big one that does 3 harm, and point it at Dennis, I think, or Eliza, whichever one is closer. I guess.
Probably Eliza.
Okay. Then she'll point it at Eliza. Just intentionally avoiding Margot, really. I guess.
Yep, fair.
But and then yeah, we'll kick some ass.
All right, go for it, bud.
She doesn't know them. 7.
Okay. On a 7.
Oh, wait, but hang on.
What's up?
I think I just took a move that I roll differently on kick some ass.
I'll let you do it again. I'll let you do it again.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Oh yeah,
I want to
you
make
rolled
sure
it.
that
You're
that's
sharp
the
now.
move I took.
Mm.
Yeah, because I took from my move from another playbook that I took is Two-Fisted Science, which is where we roll sharp to kick some ass instead of tough.
Nice.
Eh,
What a name.
I thought forward. Okay, don't fail me now.
Wow.
Okay, so
Fala.
yeah,
All right,
let's
there
go.
it is.
All right, what
Duality.
are you doing, and what harm does it do?
We are using the big, let's see, heavy futuristic weapon that does 3 harm and stuns.
Okay, so what is the weapon?
We decided it was like a futuristic, longer range, kind of laser stun.
Okay. Yeah. So you hit her with that, and the shot rings true, and it hits her in center mass, and she is like shaking in place, like she is stunned momentarily as you do that. So bravo to you. Next up is Jimmy.
Jimmy will draw his sword.
Mm-hmm.
He will also, I would also like to use warrior,
Yep.
and I'm gonna roll to kick some ass on Elijah while she's stunned by by Fala.
Yep. A stunning shot from the futuristic wonder Fala. Let's see if Big Jimmy can follow up. An 8.
My
Okay.
God, this guy's annoying.
How many harm does this do, Jimmy?
That's 5 harm.
Imagine finding the first time.
Wow. Okay. So you run forward, and while she's stunned, like, are you slashing through her body? What are you doing?
Yes, I want to slash, like a downward slash, like, you know, from the shoulder down.
Okay. As you go through the body, it gets stuck in her shoulder, and her eyes snap forward, and she takes the those hands and turns them into tendrils, and she is going for your pectoral muscles, and she is going to slash through them for 2 harm, and that's after your defenses. But she is looking bad. Okay, next up, I believe, is my characters. So that would be... Yeah, because Jericho's 7. So, Margot is going to go first. I don't like playing Margot. Feels wrong. Margot is going to target... she's probably going to target Fala, actually, because she sees Fala as... sort of avoiding her, and she's gonna go with the shotgun. Sorry, I should probably put the voice on. She's gonna go with the shotgun, and she's gonna go and try
That's
to aim
not
for
even
you.
what she sounded like. You're
And she gets
disrespectful.
she gets a
This
7.
is disrespectful.
disrespectful to the.
I mean, that's what JJ would do, though, right? That's exactly what JJ would do. Like, he uses her as a puppet. So 7. So she fires at you, Fala. But you are able to get a shot back on her. And you said yours does 3 harm?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, hers also does 3 harm, as you are aware.
I am aware.
Yeah, so, wait, do you have any armor? Remember, you guys have gone and gotten imbued stuff, so please remind me of that.
No.
No?
I have no armor.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, the shot goes in, like, it kind of, like, some of the buck misses you, but it does go into, like, your thigh. So 3 harm, whereas yours hits her in the top shoulder.
Okay.
All right. Next up is Dennis Rowe, who is going to go after Jericho.
Now, why would he do that?
And Jericho, he is holding the death's row, and he is going to fire and imbue it. An 11. Yeah, he it's. I mean, he was an incredible gunslinger. He spins that chamber, puts in a bullet, holds the gun up from the bottom, from the hilt, flips it in the air, and then fires at you. And before you can even react, it hits you. It hits you in the side of your I'm gonna say like your left shoulder, and it does 2 harm. And lastly, sorry, that's you, and it's your turn, Jericho Branch.
Okay. I am going to. All right. At Dennis Rowe, I'm going to fire a lightning magic missile at him.
Woo. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. You do not. Maybe it's because you're getting control over your new arm, and it's really kind of messing with your equilibrium. You try to do the magic, and it just doesn't come to you. In this moment, Jericho, you are well and truly vulnerable. And before we can roll any more, so the scene right now is Fala is down to a knee, blood coming from the left thigh. Jimmy, you are being held up by Eliza's malformed tendril arms, and Jericho, you've just been shot. And JJ is salivating. It's like, well, goodness gracious, talk about your sins coming back to haunt you. It seems that the end might be close at hand. I did warn you not to come near us. And right at that moment...
You teleported us here.
Oh, no, he's talking about because you guys all agreed to battle, and then that was the contract sealing your marks. So he's talking about that at the very beginning in his big old speech.
That sounds like sore loser talk. Man couldn't hold his L.
And at that moment, an arc of black light comes through the pit, and Eldritch Callista drops down with her Death Blossom, which is always unfurled post-death. And I believe we described what this looks like before, didn't we? The Death Blossom.
Yes.
Did we name it something different, or have we kept it as the Death Blossom for now?
No, it's a Death Blossom. I have 4 harm, burst, close, reckless.
Yep, you certainly do. But what does it look like when you manifest in?
Oh gosh. I think last time it was like a sort of like an explosion almost, wasn't it? Like it was in.
Yeah. It was a pretty intense blasting. So because you're not channeling it like the way you did before, it's just an explosion of energy, and it rips through Eliza, and it disintegrates her immediately. And Jimmy is dropped to the ground. Dennis is pushed back against the wall, and Margot is hit very, very hard as her body starts to crumble away. She gets one look at you before she disintegrates, and she just grins, and then she's gone, and Dennis Rowe is all that's left. And it is your move, Callista.
Sick. Okay. Callista will pull out the scythe, and she'll kind of I think she kind of glances at Jericho for a second, but she ultimately approaches and tries to slash him with it.
Okay, give me a roll.
Fucking goddamn.
Yeah,
That would
maybe.
have been really cool if I had done it.
It would have
That
been
would've
very
really
cool.
cool.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. He definitely gets out of the way. And JJ says, "Oh, no. We're not having you take center stage straight away. No, we need a little bit more drama." And he kind of pulsates and like sends a almost like a little magical, I'd say like almost like a barrier towards Dennis, and he starts to glow in a black light, and he fires his gun again. And you're lucky because he imbued it with necrotic damage, which does nothing to you, but it does hit you for 1 harm.
Okay.
And we go back to the top of the order, which is Fala.
Yes. Okay. Fala. How close is Fala to?
About 10 feet, 15 feet maybe at a push.
Okay. Then we'll still use the heavy stun and go for another 3 harm and
Okay.
stun on him.
I'm going to say you charge it this time then. You're trying to get a little bit extra charge on that shot.
Yeah.
Yep, go ahead. Nice. You're able to hit him for 3 harm. And it's a shot that goes wide, and it actually sends him crumbling towards the side of the pit, and it disintegrates him. And he is gone by the time that the energy dissipates from your gun. And JJ stands there for a minute, sort of bewildered, and says, "Well, sometimes you think you've seen it all, and then you see that. Give it up for the Nightmare Detectives." And the crowd applauds, and he says, "Well, a deal is a deal, and I will be seeing you again soon. But I promised to send you to a fractal, so I'm going to do just that. Talk to you soon." And he... the room disintegrates. I keep saying that word today. The room fades away, and you are in... And this is where we're going to finish up. You're in a training room, a dojo of sorts. And Jericho, you know...
I swear.
Yeah, you know where we are, Jericho. So how do you react when we're dropped in here?
Jericho like will do like a cheesy cinematic. Oh no.
Yeah.
Where are we?
Yeah, Jericho, where are we?
I don't know, DM. Why don't you tell us where we are?
Okay.
I have
Why
a bad feeling.
don't you give me a sharp roll, Jericho? 7.
It's a 7.
It takes you a minute to get your eyes adjusted, but you realize that we are in the Gravity Mancer's dojo. Specifically the Kruger branch.
Yeah.
For the Gravity Mancer's dojo.
That's what I thought.
Oh,
It is ramshackled, it is desolated, and it is destroyed. And there is a trail of blood going from the room that you were jumped into it runs through the hallway and down into the main courtyard. And you follow it, and it is the body of the Gravity Mancer. It's Reinhold Kruger's father, who was the head of the Gravity Mancers and was known as the Godweight. And at this moment, 2 fractals are down. And there are 12 to go. Detective?